let's get something out because Helga Hooferfoot has come home with her groceries and she's slamming every single damn door and shelf in her apartment. I've got Tweedledee and Tweedledum outside, the handymen, who are smashing and crashing things. I've got people across the street with chainsaws. Let's just get this done, all right? We're inking today because of Inktober. I need some peace and quiet. Now, as always, we're going to be doing inking on Autodesk Sketchbook, which is my program, my preferred program. I'll work Photoshop from time to time, but I really do like Autodesk Sketchbook. And for all the kiddies out there, it's available on iPad and whatever Microsoft has. Surface? For the purposes of drawing analog, like pen on paper, I like these. It's a Kuretake Fuji brush. I will put a picture of it right about here. You can find it on Amazon. It's like $7 for a pack of 3. See, it's got Japanese writing on it and everything because it's from Japan. It's a felt tip brush. It's got a little bit of give to it, but it offers you a lot of control, which is what I'm going to get into on this video. Control, pressure, sensitivity. How hard you press onto the paper determines the kind of line strength, the line thickness you have. I know in other videos, I just right away to the ink. It's kind of time consuming, so I'm going to rush through this a little bit. So I know you guys are going to be like 5 minutes in. I don't want that to happen. So let's get through this. We are doing, my arm's going to die after this, a VSCO Girl and a sea turtle. Here we go right here. I drew a VSCO Girl and whoop. Let's see if we got everything here. We have the Hydro Flask. We have the Scrunchies, the Friendship Bracelet, the Puka Shells. We have the Save the Turtles oversized t-shirt. We got the Apple Watch. We have got the AirPods. We have the hoop earrings. We got a floppy hat. We have, right down here, we have the Birkenstocks. And we have a sea turtle who knows way too much. So, that's what we have. And I just said so again, and there goes my meter. Oh well. Easy does it on the ums and so's this week, right? I already have another layer set up right here. I have my brushes. Now, this is one of the reasons why I really like Autodesk Sketchbook. You got pressure, light pressure, heavy pressure right here. If you look at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, opacity with heavy pressure, opacity with light pressure, and yada, 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 on and on and on and on and on. A lot of options and a lot of ways you can make this brush work for you. What I'm going to do is I kind of already did it with the blue pencil, but what I like to do is right along the outside of the character, I love to do an outline. You don't have to do it right away. I just want to show you what I did, as opposed to the lines inside, which will be broken and light. Break them up. Now, when you break up these lines, right here, right here, right here, it kind of suggests almost like the nose of the face. It's not. It's a crease or some kind of a bump or cavity or something like that. That it's not like an open space like a mouth, or it's not an appendage like a toe. It's just kind of a pattern or some kind of something. Having a senior moment here. Edges of the again. Edges of the shell, I will put darker. Now, the reason I go darker is because sometimes you have a lot of things going on. Like when I get to the neck part, let's get to the neck part right away. I'm going to do this, this, and this. Now, this is the outside of the neck right here, and these are going to be stretch marks. Notice the stretch marks I make a lot lighter. Because if you make everything the same width, the same strength, where everything's like this and not like this, you won't know where the edge of the neck is. You won't know the difference between the neck or the stretch mark. So when you're dealing with something that is a part of the character, like an arm or a neck or ears, or even hair for that matter, I like to draw them a little darker. Things that are within those boundaries. Like say you draw the face, the outline of the face. Well, within the face, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, you'll use a slightly lighter stroke because you don't want to compete with the dark outline of the face. And we'll get right here actually, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. We're talking about light pressure. Again, I don't complete this circle. I don't need to. I can put even a little dot right there just to give a suggestion. And if I'm going to color this in later on, this is going to be white and this is going to be green. So you see this in comic books all the time. The inker doesn't necessarily follow through with the inks. Instead of an eye being like this, he or she will probably do an eye like this, or even maybe an eye like this. They don't have to complete the circle. Not necessary. Because it's suggested that is an eye, and we all know what an eye looks like. And if there's going to be color laid in underneath this, the eye's going to be white anyways. No reason to over ink. So when you don't have to ink something, don't. Now here, I started off thick and I went thin. See the variations here from here to here? I like doing that. It's a personal preference. You may not like doing this. I kind of do it to snapper turtle, so it does have a beak to it. And the tongue. Tongue does stick out a little bit, so I'll put that in first before I put anything else. And notice there's going to be ribs under here. Like inside of some mouths of animals, you'll see some ribbing. You don't want these teeth or the tongue competing with the ribs. When I say competing, they're in the same space. So the ribs will be lighter. These will be lighter than the tongue itself. Again, when color is involved, it's not going to be that much of a deal. Shading as well. But if you're just doing line art, usually you want some contrast between objects in the same space. So there we go. Again, I'm just breaking these lines down. And right here, I didn't bother putting a little bit of black right there. I don't need to. I have this line right here. It's not necessary to connect here with here. I don't have to do that. Save some time. Don't do too much work for yourself. Now we're going to go back here. Again. I'm going to do the toes first because they overlap the shell. And I want to put these in here first, and then this part of the foot. Only because they do overlap the shell, and I want to get them out of the way to know what not to draw. Here's the inside part of the foot, the under part. And again, I am the king. I can do anything. I'll get better at that, hopefully. If not, I'll have to wear a shirt that says something about it. And so. Yeah. Sounds like a band. Do the toes. Knee right there. I just do a little something for the knee. I didn't like those lines. There we go. Tails right there. We pull out. That's all we really need right now for the turtle. Let's move it up again and move it in a little bit. Now, if you're looking at the turtle, you notice how many thick and thin lines there are. I'm a big fan of Bill Watterson, Calvin and Hobbes. He does this all the time. And back in the days when cartoonists were using brushes and quill pens, there was a lot of line variation because they really didn't have much of a choice. A lot of cartoonists back in the golden era of comics and comic strips for that matter, 40s, 50s, and 60s, used brushes. So this is a very brushy look. Depending on whether you use the very tip of the brush or you apply pressure and put more of those bristles on the page. It does take some practice. Don't worry, you'll get it. Now, when you're dealing with, say, water, this is where it really comes in handy, and I have it at 12 and 1. Let's bring it down to about 6, or let's make it 6 and 05. Bottom right-hand corner, bottom left-hand corner. And the only reason I'm doing this is because the water is incidental. It's not really the character. It's part of something the character's doing, almost like action lines in comic books Or in like anime, somebody's flying through the air and those action lines behind him or her. You don't want it competing with the character, so you want a thinner line. So what I'll do here is the same thing, thick and thin, but if you notice, a thick part of these lines are not as thick as, say, right here or right here. It's a different pressure. If you're using a food aid brush, you could do this as well. You just don't apply as much pressure to this as you normally would for the character. Same with you. Let me see if I can do this. I'm not going to be perfect with this, but that's close enough. It's got a curve. It's fine. I'm not going to be right on the blue, but who cares? Same thing with the splashing right here. Thick and thin. Pressure, no pressure. Pressure, no pressure. Well, not no pressure, less pressure. Pressure, less pressure, and so on and so forth, etc., etc., etc. And there you go. There is VSCO Girl and Psycho Sea Turtle. All linked in for you. Well, there you go. It is what it is, and that is that. I hope you have a wonderful Inktober. Get on Instagram every single day. Put something on Instagram. Draw something new. I guess you follow Jake Parker's list, or maybe you don't. Again, it's up to you. You are who you are. Do whatever you want. If you really enjoyed this video, if it was informational and educational for you, please hit the like button, or if you so desire, the subscribe button. That would be very much appreciated on my behalf. So have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. See ya!